Hi, I'm Caleb Watkins and I'm an educator with WATKINS. I'm going to show you guys a style today. I'm going to work on a soft beach wave on my model Claudia. She just got her hair balayaged by Dominique, one of our color educators. So I'm going to go in and rough dry the hair, really avoiding having any parts in the hair. I'm going to elevate the hair all up and a little bit to the back, just to really create fullness and really, like I said, to avoid having any parts in the middle or the sides.
So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to recreate this look. So I began the look by applying a texturizing salt spray all throughout the hair, roots to ends. I then began to blow dry the product into the hair until I had removed about 90% of the moisture, focusing on drying the roots first and pushing the hair up and against her natural hair growth direction to help get maximum lift and volume. After I had removed about 90% of the moisture, I used a large round brush to finish smoothing the ends of the hair.
All right, so now I'm gonna start off with my middle part. Now that we got it all dried, it just says separated through the middle, but you can see through the product and the blow drying, I got some height and some lift right here through the top now. We're gonna start off on the sides, utilizing a Marcel curling iron, and we're gonna utilize the 1.25" Marcel iron. We're gonna create these loose waves that are alternating and really just working throughout the head shape. I like to start in the front a lot of times just because it's the most important part and it's the part that everybody else cares about and notices the most. That's what your client is gonna care about as they're looking in the mirror. So let's go ahead and get that part perfect and then we'll move on to the rest.
As I'm creating the waves, I'm going to alternate the direction of every other curl. So the front one I did backwards and the next one I'll do forward.
I think one thing that's important to think about when you're doing any kind of waves is to eliminate the thought in your mind that you're creating curls. You're really looking more for a wave or a bevel in the hair. If you start thinking curls, and most people get the waves too tight. So, of course you can create a somewhat similar look with flat iron, but they're always gonna be a little bit different because they're using a different tool. So depending on what you're wanting, pick the correct tool, but if you're wanting something looser, try to eliminate that thought of that I'm creating a curl. Even though I'm using a curling iron. That's just the tool, but I'm using it in a completely different way than the typical traditional way that a curling iron was meant to be used.
Also make sure to pay attention to how I'm holding the curling iron when doing each of the waves. No matter what direction I am making the curl go, I always have the tip of the iron pointed up and the handle down.
So I just did that front one backwards. And then the next one to lay on top of it, I want to make sure to do that forward. I really like working off of diagonals. So I'll show you again as I do the next one, but I'm working towards a diagonal this way when I'm working forward, and vice versa when I'm working the curl backwards. Notice how afterwards I do like to place the hair a lot of times, just to sculpt the shape that you want.
Like I said earlier, one of the most important things about creating a great wave with a curling iron is the direction that you're holding the iron. So try and roll the hair up and on a diagonal to get the best look, especially for the top curls. After you finish the first side in front of the ear, then do the same exact technique on the opposite side of the head. Again, for that last curl in the very front, making sure to roll it up and away from the face and add a diagonal before dropping the curl and placing it right where you want it. Also, one main tip for creating loose wave is to leave about 1 inch of the ends of the hair out of the curling iron when rolling up the curl. This allows us to slide through the ends and pull them straight. In the back half of the head, you'll just work with the same horizontal sections, working up the head until you finish the hair at the top of the crown.
All right, so I just finished up the last curl. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go through and I'm gonna apply a dry texturizing spray now. So I'm gonna apply that to all the hair and really just add a lot of fluffiness and fullness to the hair.
Don't be afraid to really get in there and run your hands through the hair thoroughly to break up all the waves and get a fuller, more lived-in look. To finish out the look, I double back with a little bit more of the dry texture spray, applying it at the roots and moving the hair side to side. And that's our finished look. I'll show it to you guys from a few more angles.